Hello, how's it going? This is Chris. I'm just going to check my microphone's picking this stuff up properly, otherwise I'm going to be one sad cookie. Okay, what I've got here is our textured completed piece. Now, I should go around this really and start at the back side. Now, the reason that the top, the sides, the underneath and the back on these parts here look so crap is because, frankly, these are superfluous, yeah? We could delete them and it wouldn't matter. This piece here I kept in simply because, I mean, if I was planning on, I'll just use my shift key for this, you know, stacking these a bit like that, okay, and having them kind of set back in a steps pattern, then I could, and I think that would probably work quite nicely as well, you know, because I could have one, you know, over here then like that, sort of connecting onto the side and so on. It's kind of ways of putting this together that are going to kind of work, you know. Now, what I'm going to do is add an editable poly to the edit poly modifier to this, I think. There we are. Right, so now I can edit the polys on this if I want. I don't have those outrageous yellow lines. So, I mean, the idea of this is prefab, yeah? I mean, you know, we can stack them up. And there you go, bam. You know, great big problem. The idea is that, you know, this large kind of works. It's got escape systems in place. They kind of go down like that, yeah? I mean, another option would be, if I'm going to be so daring and so bold, you could, you know, using the shift key, flip this around 180 degrees. Okay, so we've got a copy. And go from there to there. I'm sure you can see what I'm doing here. It's quite an easy idea actually. And then kind of fill in this bit here, or stick a mountain in between them, or whatever. You know, there we go. It's a nice simple one. You know, this can be used in a couple of examples here. Okay, so there you go. See, entrance on one side and on the other, whatever. But what I'm going for is the wall of prefabs, so that we get a really big kind of building going together, which I can use with that particle flow simulation, remember? That we used to create the buildings with. Okay, so I'm going to go through and show you just how to make a quick preview lighting system, I suppose. This will be the only time I do it for the prefabs as a tutorial set, simply because we're not really assembling these till the end. But if you only want to do the one and you want to kind of show it off a little bit, here's what we're going to do. So I make a box for it to stand on. And this is our ground plane. I could have used a plane, but I tend to use boxes more, don't know why. Remember, you know, if you didn't create this the way I did, with this being created on the actual 0 x-axis here and y-axis, you may need to kind of adjust the floor or do it from the bottom with auto grid. Okay, now I'm just going to make a basic lighting simulation. So you didn't used to be able to do this with Modular Array, now you can, which is really quite useful. We're going to use some final gather as well, because that's always good. First things first though, I want to set up a material that I can use for the ground plane, because they always need a material, even if it's going to be something really basic. There we go. Okay, scoot in a bit. Now I'm going to go to the light panel, and from here I'm going to go to a photometric. I'm going to choose my IES sun. Okay, that's IES sun there. And what I'm going to do is, you click where you want the sun to be, which I'm going to have about here. And I'm going to click over to here and let go. So now you can see the sun's kind of pointing at this, yeah? Now I'm going to pull the sun up to about there. So we're going to get some quite contrasted dark shadows, but it's going to work out okay. Okay, next piece that we want to do is click on our sun, go to our modifier panel, and down here open our Modular Array light shader. I'm going to press M to open, that's N, M to open our material editor. Now remember, slot 1 and slot 2 at the moment are busy, so I'm going to click on this and I'm going to click Light Infinite as a base. Okay, that's the shade we want in here. Now click Enable and I'm going to drag that over to here, click Instance. Okay, so everything we do in this material slot now affects this. Click Shadows, and in the lighting area I'm going to change it to a kind of yellowy not too yellowy, just a minor tint, otherwise you know it's going to look like everyone's got jaundice. There we go. Incidentally, I got this off CG Talk, and I think I've done a different tutorial about it at some point, but it's such a useful thing, you know. Okay, next I want skylight. Press M to open my material again. So I'm going to go to my standard lights, and here's my skylight here. Just going to click it there, drag it up, open it out, and in my material I'm going to stick a HDRI map. Alright, so there's my HDRI folder there, and you may notice I use apartment BLRD HDR. You know, I can't even remember where I got this from, I got it so long ago, but everyone has a favourite one they use. I mean, you could, you know, go out and use this one if you want, or this one. You know, I might use that one anyway for a change, just to see what happens. I haven't used it in such a long time. There you go, click OK. So now our skylight is assigned here, and I'm going to drag it over the fourth slot. Okay, now here I have to set it from texture mapping to environment mapping. The mapping type I want to be spherical, that way it wraps around a kind of virtual hemisphere. Alright? Now I can close this down. Okay, now let's get in a bit close and we'll set ourselves up a little camera. So there we go, Control C. Now we've got a camera, alright? So let's do a render and see what happens, and instantly this is going to look not great. And it won't take very long. I've got the mental way renderer on. Okay, so you can see we've got our shadows, but it's not really illuminating it, you know, particularly fantastic style. Now this is basically kind of our primitive render, yeah? We haven't got final gather turned on, we've got no bounces, nothing exciting happening. So what we need to do really is turn this on so we can highlight our nice model here. So if I press F10, oh yeah, and I'd like to turn on anti-aliasing too. So if I press F10, and what I'm going to do is, obviously our renderer is assigned to mental rail already, you might need to change that. Samples per pixel, I'm going to set a minimum of 1 and maximum of 16. Keep all this the way it is for the minute. Okay, now in indirect illumination, go down till I get a final gather. Just going to enable that and leave it as it is. Now this is going to change the way or the amount of time that it takes to render. So let's click and then go and make a cup of coffee. You can see the percentages kind of creep up at the side. If you've got a modularly fast computer, then it shouldn't take too long. I feel quite lucky actually, due to the fact that I'm recording, that I'm actually getting this kind of speed. Don't worry if yours is slower than this. Obviously, you know, I've got kind of 2 processors with 2 virtuals, but this is a good time to make a cup of tea if it's going to take too long, or whistle, or perhaps lament the fact that you've got a blocked nose and that, you know, you wish someone was there to give you a nice hug and a mug of warm cocoa. Right, now what was I doing? Oh yeah, waiting for this. You know, I could pause, couldn't I? And this would have saved you time downloading. But hell, it's my bandwidth and I'm feeling cruel. Ooh, 38%. Isn't this exciting? Maybe I could pause, give you hope. Look, I'm going to pause now. And I've unpaused again after only 4%. Oh. There's a lighter I used for lighting my fire earlier. Okay, I'm going to pause now. Okay, so we're now into rendering and you can see the difference. We've got some bounces of light now are actually illuminating at the back here. It'll also illuminate in this piece here. We've got the tint coming in off our HDRI map. So you can see what a difference this is making. I mean, we could probably do with some additional kind of fill lights to come in here. But, I mean, this is a really good start for us. So, if I just drop back into perspective, pull back, and put an omni back there. I'm going to put a second omni over here as a backlight, and that there. Okay, and just close that off. This omni here, see what it's illuminating. To that there. I'm going to use this to kind of simulate some bounce of light. Just bring some more light into it, and bring some extra light in from the front. So I'm going to bring its multiplier down to about 0.45. Do I want shadows? Yes, but I'm going to make the shadows really quite light. Light's going to affect the shadow colour. And the density on them is only going to be about 0.4. Check our mental ray shadow map here. Do I have mental ray shadow map on? Yes. Change the map size to 1024, which will give us a better quality. And we can enable transparent shadows too if we want, it's up to you. At the back here, make sure this one's set up okay as well. So we can drop now into camera view. And I'm going to bring this back just a little bit more, maybe pan it to one side a bit. There we are. And I'm going to change the colour of our background because it's a bit too white really. There we go. Okay, now render. Okay, so you can see some additional pickup from the shadows. Another thing we can do obviously is kind of increase, change the settings over here in our final gather. Here we are. Rebuild, do not use cache. Well, that's quite useful actually, we turn it off and use a file instead. Okay, anyway, I'm waffling really, and this was just kind of a finisher, just to show you some ways of playing with our finished file for this prefab. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to set up a render, because I've finished this part of the set, so that people will have a preview for what I'm doing, and I'm going to make a kind of introduction set. So that'll be quite cool and lots of fun. Alright, so, until I join you again, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the prefab escape unit set, and I'll see you in the next set. Until then, bye bye for now.